You ever have one of those days where you wake up thinking it's just another Tuesday, and by sundown you're smack in the middle of some HOA fever dream, starring as the villain in your neighbor's wild imaginations? Yeah, that happened. Let me back up a sec. This story's about how a couple of people, a dusty patch of land, and a sunset ended up unraveling a whole web of petty power plays. The kind of mess where you're shaking concrete dust out of your boots and wondering if you've landed in a sitcom or a legal drama. You know what I mean? My name's Bob Thornton, and up until all this, I thought I understood small-town living. My wife, Ava, and I had been saving for years, dreaming about the kind of place where you could sit on your own porch, sip something cold, and watch the light melt across the valley. So when we finally found a rocky, sloped piece of nothing that nobody else wanted, but with a view that could stop your heart, we jumped. We did everything by the book: county permits, stamped plans, hoops jumped, hands shaken. The thing nobody tells you is, some folks have their own book, and if your name's not in it, you're the villain. Enter Karen Fraser, HOA president for life and queen of the Invisible Ink rulebook. It started innocently enough. First, a letter, thick paper, big words, telling us our proposed structure would infringe upon the established view corridor. I read it twice, then called Stan at the county. He laughed so hard he nearly choked. There's no such thing as a legally protected view corridor unless it's a public easement. You're not in the HOA anyway. Your permits are solid. That was good enough for me. I'm simple. If the law says build, I build. Of course, that wasn't the end of it. Karen rolled up on a golf cart, visor, tennis whites, a smile sharp as a lemon rind. She handed me a binder and said, "These are our covenants." I told her they didn't apply to our dirt, which didn't exactly earn me any points. "You'll be hearing from our legal team," she snapped, zipping off with all the grace of a startled goose. We got to work, dreaming with every nail and every sunset sandwich on the tailgate. But then the letters started. Cease and desist. Threats of fines. Our lawyer said they were blowing smoke, but the smoke started to choke us. The neighborhood's mood shifted. Some folks still waved, but others avoided our eyes. We were the sunset thieves. Then, on a Tuesday morning, a guy in a blue windbreaker with a cheap badge showed up, calling himself Marshall Johnson, State Compliance. He slapped a red stop work tag on our frame, waving some nonsense about unpermitted grading. Only problem: in this state, there are no marshals, just inspectors, and they don't drive up in unmarked sedans wearing knockoff shoes. When I pressed him, he bolted, sprinted to his car, dropped papers everywhere, even swung a wild punch at me before peeling out, scattering more evidence than a kid with a leaky backpack. Ava and we gathered up everything, and that's when we saw the emails, straight from Karen's board cronies, telling the fake marshal to make it scary. That's when it hit me. This wasn't just a cranky neighbor thing. This was a full-blown conspiracy. Ava, cool as ever, told me not to touch the red tag. "It's evidence," she said. She called the sheriff, started documenting everything with her phone. When Deputy Miller rolled up, he took one look at the stop work order and started laughing. "Wrong paper, wrong font. No seal. This is a joke." He bagged it as evidence, took the emails, wrote up an incident report for assault, trespassing, impersonation of an official. Now we were really in it. Not just a property dispute, but a crime scene. That night, Ava went full CSI, ordering a pro-grade security system, installing cameras, motion sensors, cloud backups, the whole 9 yards. If a rabbit sneezed, we'd know. A few nights in, the cameras caught Gary and Ted, 2 of Karen's sidekicks, sneaking onto our land and moving the survey stakes, stealing 5 feet of property in the dead of night. Ava said, "Let them do it, Bob. We've got it all on video." She was right. By sunrise, we had them nailed for vandalism and trespassing. Of course, that didn't stop them. The morning our concrete truck finally arrived, Gary and Ted blocked the driveway with orange cones, playing safety committee. "You're not coming through," Gary smirked. When I told him about the stake-moving video, he got red in the face and shoved me, then took a swing that landed hard enough to split my lip and rattle my teeth. The truck driver, bless him, jumped out, called the cops, stood as witness. Gary and Ted bailed, leaving their cones behind. Sheriff's deputies took statements, issued warrants. Now we had a third-party witness and video. Still, Karen's crew didn't quit. That night, they cut the power to our cameras. Ava, always 2 steps ahead, had installed a battery backup and LTE uplink. When the power went out, the cameras stayed live and caught Ted in a hoodie, bolt cutters in hand, face upturned in perfect high def. We emailed the footage straight to Miller. Ted had just handed us a slam dunk charge for tampering with security equipment, on top of everything else. Then the twist. An anonymous email landed in Ava's inbox, screenshots of the HOA board's private group chat, laying out their entire campaign. Karen had ordered everything, from the fake marshal to the utility sabotage, whatever it takes. Make them go. It was proof, a roadmap of their petty little war, signed in pixels and timestamps. Someone on the inside had had enough. With everything lined up, video of the stake moving, the assault, the power sabotage, the chats, we brought in a licensed county surveyor and a GIS specialist to lock it all down. Their report proved, without question, that our foundation was on our land. Our house met every setback, and the view corridor was a myth. The sunset belonged to everyone. Our build blocked nothing but thin air and a few folks' pride. We sent all the evidence to their lawyer and got back a generous buyout offer, the original price plus peanuts. We mailed it back in confetti. Next came the harassment. Notes on the truck, eggs on the trailer, cold shoulders at the grocery store. The kind of thing that wears you down if you let it. One night, watching another killer sunset, I had a ridiculous idea. If they were mad about the view, let's share it. We set up a projector and screen at the end of the driveway, live streamed the sunset for the whole block, passed out cocoa and cookies. The neighbors trickled in, even old Nate from down the street. Karen rolled up, sat in her golf cart glaring, then spun away when nobody cared. That night, the tension broke a little. The sunset didn't belong to her. It belonged to all of us. Finally, court day. Karen's lawyer went big with a dollhouse model of our properties, trying to show catastrophic view damage. Judge Rollins, gruff and no-nonsense, burst out laughing. You're submitting this dollhouse to contradict a certified survey and laser scan? The judge's mood flipped fast. He dismissed their case with prejudice, sanctioned the HOA for our legal costs, and referred the whole mess, the fake marshal, the assault, the conspiracy, to the DA. Your little kingdom stops at the Thornton property line, he said. And today it's run headfirst into the law. Afterward, the neighborhood changed. The HOA's reserve fund was gutted. Sanctions meant special assessments, and neighbors started asking questions. Gary and Ted pled out to assault and vandalism. Karen was banned from the board for life, and the whole HOA collapsed. Nate, the quiet neighbor, stepped in as president, sent us an apology and the check that covered our losses. For the first time, it felt like a community again. We finished the house that spring. No fanfare, just pizza on the floor, windows open to the night. When summer came, we hosted a block party, called it Sunset for All. No speeches, no posturing, just food, music, and neighbors. Ava leaned against the rail, the valley lights blinking on. For a long time, nobody said a word. Then a neighbor murmured, "Glad you stayed." I nodded, feeling it all the way to my bones. Me too. So here's what I learned. Some folks confuse rules with power. But power fades. Documents, timestamps, and a stubborn belief in what's right, that'll carry you through. The sunset? Still free for all. The house. Finally a home. But the best part, the real win, is the story folks tell now, not about a feud, but about a community that found its way back. So tell me, what would you have done? Where do you draw the line between standing your ground and keeping the peace? Share your story below, because somewhere, someone's fighting the same fight, and you just might be the reason they don't give up.